Let's talk about skills versus attributes. You said skills are learned, attributes we're born with. How do you differentiate the two, skills versus attributes?
Yeah, a couple. There's a few distinctions. So skills are not inherent to our nature. Okay, none of us are born with the ability to ride a bike or drive a car, or in the military case, shoot a gun. Okay, we're trained to do those things. We're taught to do those things. Skills direct our behavior in known situations. Okay, here's how and when to ride a bike. Here's how and when to drive a car or shoot a gun. And then because they're visible and they're didactic, they're very easy to see, measure, and assess. Okay, you can put scores around them. You can put stats around them. You can see how well anybody does any skill. All right. In the business sense, you can put them on a resume. Okay, and people, okay,
Right.
they're very visible, i.e., very seductive, especially when you're putting together a team or you're trying to assess performance. It's why people usually default to skills when they think about top performers.
Well, then you get sucked in and you're like, they have all these skills and these certifications, hire them immediately.
Yeah, totally. But what they don't tell us is all the intangibles, all the peripheries. They don't tell us how we're going to operate in uncertainty, challenge, and stress, how we're going to think through situations. This is when we lean on our attributes. Attributes are more elemental. They're inherent. Okay, we're all born with levels of adaptability, patience, discipline, situational awareness. Okay, now you can certainly develop them over time and experience. Okay, but you can see levels of this stuff in small children, so they're already there to begin with. They also don't direct our behavior. They inform our behavior. Okay, my son's levels of perseverance and resilience informed the way he showed up when he was learning the skill of riding a bike, and he was falling off a dozen times doing so. Okay, so they inform how we're going to show up. And then because they're hidden in the background, they're hard to see and therefore hard to measure and assess. Okay, you see them the most visibly and viscerally during times of challenge, uncertainty, and stress when skills can't be applied. This is why the training you and I went through is so powerful, because nothing about that had to do with applying skills to anything. It was just throw them in these situations, see what happens, right? But really, I mean, talent overall is not skills based. It's actually a dynamic dance between skills and attributes. Listen, Tom Brady, Drew Brees, listen to these, and sports is one of these environments where they're very skills heavy, okay? Because it's conditioned, it's rules based, it's kind of certain in many ways. So it's very skills heavy, but what makes up a Drew Brees, what makes up a Tom Brady is not because they're only skilled, okay? There are people out there who can throw the football just as far as Tom Brady can throw the football or Drew Brees can throw the football. What makes them who they are is because they have attributes that are also attached. They know, they have the situational awareness to read things. They have the patience to look. They have the discipline. They have mental acuity. All these attributes start to come to the fore. So the best talent out there is actually a dance and a synchronization between skills and attributes. But ultimately, if we want to measure performance, if we want to build high-performing teams that actually operate, not only when things are going great, but also when things are going really bad, we have to look at attributes, not just skills.
I want to talk about you for a second before we dig into the attributes, because you weren't I'll say this and you'll laugh, I know you will, and I'll say, you weren't just a Navy SEAL. And I joke with the Navy SEALs all the time because, you're every Navy SEAL, everyone knows who they are, because what's the joke, right? They told you they were a Navy SEAL versus the Green Berets who sit here and, we're quiet, we're in the background, the motto is the quiet professionals. But I mean, in all seriousness, you ran assessment and selection for one of our nation's most elite units. And this is an organization that, without being apocryphal about it, really it comes to you to set the conditions for our nation's national security, because the focus always gets put on the operator who's out there on the front line, the guy making the news, the guy who shot bin Laden, right? But somebody had to assess him. Somebody had to select him. Somebody had to say, this person demonstrates the attributes, the character, everything we're looking for in a person who one day might be in a situation where they're going to have to decide that I'm going to shoot Osama bin Laden or not, right? And that is where the greatness of our country, the greatness of an organization is made, is in the person who has to actually make that choice about someone else. And so much credit to you for filling that role and doing such a phenomenal job for so many years as you were there. But this is not an easy job. And you said that evaluation is not necessarily about selecting people who know how to do the job, but those who could do the job. Can you make the distinction between how and could? Because I think this applies to any organization, not just the military. As you're building teams in the private sector, your company, small business, large business, it's the same. It's the same evaluation criteria.